A lot of teachers come up and they have a whole bunch of excuses for why they think that they should not bother doing flipped learning. I'm just going to address 3 of them in this short video, and then you'll watch a video from John Bergman and Aaron Sams, which will address a few other ones as well. So firstly, the biggest one I think that teachers worry about is that what if the students don't watch the video? What if they come into class, they haven't watched it, what do? Particularly if half of them have watched it and half of them haven't, right? What do you do with that scenario? And reality is that students have always not done their homework, right? There's always going to be some students who don't do it. And the key here is for you to know that and to plan for it. So number one, I would never reteach the video to the whole class again, because that tells the students who did watch it, you don't need to bother, I'm going to reteach it anyway. And the ones who didn't watch it, that they don't need to bother because you're just going to reteach it to them. So what I do when I prepare for this is actually have a look. I have a system that checks whether or not the students have watched the video, and so I know if they've watched it before I get into my class. And so I will tell those students as they arrive that they need to go to the back of the class, plug in some earphones, and the first thing they're going to do is engage with the video or read the content, whatever it is that they need to do that you've told them that they were meant to do at home. Get them to do it at the very beginning of class. And then the first thing I do with the rest of my class is play a game that relates to the content, that kind of checks their knowledge and all those types of things, but is fun, really fun. Like I love playing Kahoots, my students love it. They all get excited, they're all checking each other, they're all cheering each other and saying, you got this right, you got this wrong. Whatever it is, they're really excited about it. And I know that the kids at the back who are stuck watching the videos are a bit disappointed that they're missing out. And so it makes it more likely that next time they're going to watch it. Okay, and it might also mean that in order for them to get through the other work that you want them to do, they might need to hang around a bit later during a recess or a lunch to get that work done. And so you're actually helping that student to learn, okay, I've got to prioritize this at home because it actually is not going to get covered again in class if I don't do it. The next objection is that what if there's not enough tech? So let's say I'm in a school, I don't have access to a lot of computers, or I'm in a low socioeconomic area and my students don't have a lot of tech that is available to them either. Now, for me, I actually see even in low socioeconomic areas, generally a lack of access to technology is fairly rare. Even a lot of people in really poor third world countries still have mobile phones that access the internet, for example. So it's really about whether or not the students prioritize it and whether or not you can teach them ways to access it without having to use or cost them money. And there's also the whole idea of letting them do it at recess or lunch. So if I set my videos, I don't normally give a video and say, all right, tomorrow it has to be watched. I normally give it to them and there'll be a couple of days, maybe a whole week before they have to watch that one video. And that means that if they prioritize it, at some point during recess or lunch, they can access the school library, they can connect to the school's Wi-Fi somehow, and they can actually watch the video during that time. And given videos generally are not very long, that's not going to even cost them a whole recess break. They're still going to be able to access it and show me that they've engaged with it. You can also provide some kind of access for offline use as well. So here I might take my videos, stick them on a flash drive and give them to my students so that they can plug it into their computer at home and watch the videos. They don't need to use the internet. If your school uses ClickView, you can also use the app for ClickView. If your student has the app on their phone, they can download the video at school, for example, when they're connected to the internet, and then access that video offline when they're on their way home or when they're at home. So just allowing those types of things and thinking through how you can actually overcome that tech will make it a lot easier for your students to engage in it. And the third objection that's really common is that making videos is super time consuming. And so when am I going to find that time? We're all teachers, we're all very busy. We'll have way too much paperwork as it is. Why would I add more work to what I'm doing? Now, I'm going to say yes, it does take some time to create videos, and really your level of perfectionism and your drive towards that will actually affect how much time you spend on your videos, because you can literally sit there with the PowerPoint you've already got, turn on a thing called Screencastify, record yourself talking through the PowerPoint, press stop, and that's done. And it's taken you maybe 10 minutes to make that video, and then you're just putting it up, uploading it onto a platform where your students can access it. So it doesn't have to take you a lot of time to make it. But if you're going to make a video more like this one, where you're standing in front of a camera and you're talking and things are going to pop up on your screen as you talk, that's going to take you a bit longer. If you want to clean out all of your ums and ahs, that's also going to take you a bit longer. But in reality, when you stand in front of your class and you talk to them, you have those ums, you have those ahs, you make those mistakes. You've never had a perfect lesson in terms of what you've done with your class students. And so you don't have to have a perfect video. You just need it to cover the content in a way that's direct and relatively engaging for your students so that they can actually get the content out of it to then apply that when they get into your classroom. So the other thing that I can say about the idea that making videos takes up a lot of time is that by flipping your classroom, you're actually going to save a lot of time at the other end. So yes, there's more time spent on the preparation and the planning side of things for your lesson sequences, but there's less time spent on the providing feedback, on the marking of any kind of assessment task, because you're going to be with your students a lot more during class. You're going to be giving them lots more verbal feedback in class. You may have set up some automatically marked quizzes that provide them feedback in class, and that then frees you up. You don't have to spend as much time taking home, written essays to provide feedback on. You're going to be watching your students write those essays, providing them feedback as they write them. And so when they get to the end of it, you're going to go, that is fantastic, and tick it off. Or you'll still know at least that it's good enough and tick it off. It's not so much sitting down and going through and giving lots and lots of detailed feedback and double checking things. You're not reading it for the first time. You're going to save a lot of time at the end.